And because I had already set it up, I will see if I can broadcast on Facebook. Not always, let's see. Preparing. Hi, everybody who's joining us. We're just getting underway with our Parliamentary Internship webinar. It's 8:32 Eastern on my clock. And so we're just seeing people come into the stream. My name is Ehud Michalchishyn. I'm the Executive Director of UCC. With me are two of our alumni. One alumna, Elizabeth Franceschini, who's our parliamentary intern from last year, and Daria Glaskova, our current intern, not yet an alumni. But we are glad to have them here, and we're glad to have you here as we tell you more about the UCC's Parliamentary Internship Program. We will do a short presentation followed by questions and answers. So we have tried to, in the lead up to the webinar, answer some individual emails that were coming in, but there are still some common questions that we're getting, frequently asked questions. So we'll go through that, and we'll have Elizabeth and Daria tell you a little bit about their work and that. So I'm just seeing people are still coming into the chat, but I'll pop up my presentation here and we will get underway. If you are watching on Facebook, we welcome your watching, but you will not be able to ask a question in the same way. So I'll try to keep an eye on those Facebook comments, but we may need you to email us afterwards. So why don't we get started? Again, as I said, my name is Ehud Michalchishyn. I'm here in Ottawa at the UCC's national office. We have a parliamentary internship program, and tonight is our information session. So thank you to everybody who's registered ahead of time. Again, the website here is ucc.ca/programs if you are interested in more information about this program or anything we do. Just here's a picture of the three of us, myself and Elizabeth and Daria. So we will be talking to you tonight. And here's just our quick outline. We're going to talk quickly about the program, how it works. You'll hear from our alumni and current intern, and then we'll have a review of any deadlines and questions. So I'm just going to speak briefly at this point about the internship generally. The parliamentary internship is an experience that is a paid educational internship here in Ottawa. We have survived through the COVID scenarios with people working remotely, but we're back to working here in Ottawa. So every year for the past 7 years, and in fall and spring and throughout the winter, we've had talented young people who join us through an application-based process. They work with members of parliament, and you'll hear more from Daria and Elizabeth about that. It's an application-based internship program. So the application date is May 15th, and we'll go over that again at the end and a little bit about the form. The application is online on our website, and we look for applicants who have an interest in public affairs, who have an interest in their community, an interest in learning more and building skills towards a career in public service generally. It is not a program for people in high school. It is not a program for people midway through university. We are looking for people who are graduates of a post-secondary education. That could be college, could be university. And definitely, I would say it is, you don't have to be a political science graduate or student, although many of our interns are, but many of them are also not. So it's really open to people with a wide variety of interests. We've had applicants from literally every province in Canada, and we've had successful interns from all over Canada who have used this opportunity to learn, to grow and build skills, and then to grow into a professional career. And you'll hear a little bit about that shortly. So right now we are advertising for the application process for fall of 2023 on the basis of Parliament starting in September after Labor Day in 2023. And our program this fall will go through to June. So that's a 10-month program. We have had shorter time periods, and we have had opportunities where interns have been offered jobs midway through the program, which is great, and we encourage. And so some of our interns have left because they're so successful that they've been hired away from us, which is the goal of the program. So we've had some shorter versions of the internship as well, as you'll see. But generally, this model is allows you to be here in Ottawa for the fall session and then take a break for the winter, kind of December, January, and then from February to June when we have the budget, the throne speech, and other kind of things. So it's a very engaging experience, a very fulsome one. And I'm very pleased to have been involved in the program from our restart 7 years ago, following a resolution at the UCC's Triennial Congress to restart this program, which had existed in a different form in the past. We have lots of great, talented alumni, one of whom you'll hear from now, and our current intern. And we will, depending on the interest, maybe do another information session closer to May, and we're always open to individual questions as well, which we've been trying to respond to, but some of them are similar, so we'll do the best we can to answer them in a high level way. So that's what I can tell you about the Parliamentary Internship program right now. I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth to tell us about her experiences last year as our parliamentary intern, and then we'll hear from Daria and we'll go to questions. So Elizabeth, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ehud, and it's great to be here tonight with everyone. I was the 2021-2022 UCC parliamentary intern, and I worked in the office of Garnet Jennis, who is currently the Shadow Minister for International Development. In my role in his office, I guess I'll start out by saying that the role of the intern can be divided into two different categories, especially when you're working for a member of parliament. There's the day-to-day operations of working in a member of parliament's office, and then there are specific elements that apply to the portfolio and the files that your member of parliament is in charge of. So in my experience, some of the day-to-day operations of working on Parliament Hill, working in a member's office, can include things like managing the parliamentary email of your member of parliament. This includes correspondence from constituents, so fielding correspondence, responding and interacting with constituents on a daily basis. This can also include sending out letters to stakeholders or ministers, for example. This can also include managing the social media profiles of your member of parliament as well. And depending on the region of your member of parliament, day-to-day operations can also include the translation of materials into French, for example, as well as scheduling and staffing meetings for your member of parliament, and even planning the travel of your member as well. So these are some of the day-to-day operational tasks that I encountered in my experience, and that is something that you may come across as well. I would say that depending on the profile and the files that your member of parliament is in charge of, there are also other tasks that you may experience on a Parliament Hill. For example, committee work, which is an exciting opportunity to be a part of. It's more of a legislative role, and you really get to understand how the parliamentary process works through this legislative capacity. So in my experience working in MP Janis's office, he was sitting on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and in that role, you would be responsible for staffing your member of parliament at committee sessions, asking to do research and background information on witnesses, and to help your member of parliament come up with questions in committee as well. So it's an exciting opportunity to engage on specific issues based on what your committee is centered around on. Kind of encapsulating all of that, I would say that the UCC parliamentary program is the program for you if you're interested in politics, if you're interested in government or public service, and you would like to develop a career in this field. working on Parliament Hill through this parliamentary internship program will give you a wide variety of skills that you can apply on Parliament Hill, in public service, and in government. So it's very, very, very beneficial in that respect. And anyone on this call who is a recent graduate looking to consider this as a serious career endeavor, this internship is something that I would strongly recommend. I did, as Ihor just mentioned, there is the possibility that throughout your internship you will develop connections that can lead you to a full-time position on Parliament Hill or within, the political landscape of Canada in general, and that is an opportunity that was provided to me through completing this internship, and I'm still very, very much involved in politics today thanks to this internship. And so I would encourage everyone to apply. If you're a recent university graduate or just about to graduate and are really looking to get involved, this is the opportunity for you. So I'll leave it now to Daria to give her experience as this year's internship, and happy to take any questions afterwards.
Well, let me just thank you, Elizabeth, for that presentation, and we're very proud of you as our alumni, and very, very glad to see that you've engaged with the opportunities that the program provided you. And so I'm going to turn it over to Daria Glaskova, and Daria has been with us about how long, Daria? Almost 2 months?
2 months.
2 months. Okay, 2 months to the day, I think. So Daria is going to give you the as it's happening view of being a parliamentary intern in a couple of minutes, and then we'll turn over to questions. Again, if you are listening to our fabulous presenters and you have a question, we do have the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. So you can feel free to answer, feel free to put a question in there, then we'll try to review and answer. Over to you, Daria.
Thank you very much, Ihor, and hi everyone. I am a current intern, so currently working on Parliament Hill, reporting from Ottawa, and I started at a very interesting time 2 months ago, beginning of February. It was pre-budget consultation, so budget was released actually earlier this week, and before that there was a lot of preparation, and the MPs really want to hear from the stakeholders and constituents. So I attended some of the meetings of my MP with representatives of different industries and unions, and then I also organized and summarized the pre-budget suggestions of the constituents of the Davenport. I work for the MP of Davenport, which is a GTA, so in Toronto. And it was really interesting to see what is kind of a top of mind issues, top of mind priorities for unions, industries, and individuals. And I found a unique opportunity to see what these issues are and what kind of backgrounds are represented within the writing and overall in Canada. I'm also learning about the priorities of the constituents through my assistance with correspondence. As Elizabeth mentioned, I also manage the email of the MP, and that includes looking what kind of event invitations we get and getting that information to the MP. And obviously there are so many different invitations, a lot of constituents who want to contact the office, a lot of help is needed with that, but it's such a great opportunity to get to know what is discussed in Canada. And in correspondence, I have to mention, it's direct kind of correspondence with the constituents, but also form letters. Maybe some of you have signed some of those, not petitions, but form letters when it's kind of the same text, but more and more, a lot of people send the same text to the MP to put the message across. It was when the war started, a lot of people were, the full-scale invasion, a lot of people were sending letters asking to provide more help to Ukraine. So that is the kind of work that is done. And what I do is analytics. What kind of form letters we're getting this week? More on this topic or that. That is also important. Also, my MP is the chair of Canada-Mexico, Canada-Portugal, and Canada-Turkey parliamentary friendship groups. So these parliamentary friendship groups are created to facilitate the diplomatic relations between Canada and different countries. So I'm learning about the work of these groups and helping with technical preparations for virtual and in-person meetings and events. I've also had a chance to assist with work related to NATO Parliamentary Association, specifically in preparation for meetings in Canada and around the world. My MP has been traveling a lot with the NATO Parliamentary Association missions, and it's been quite interesting to prepare the research for those meetings and also work on the scheduling and make sure that your MP is ready for these kind of very important meetings. Finally, I've also been assisting the MP with organizing National Immigration and Refugee Caucus meetings. So being as an immigrant, I'm very encouraged to see how much Canadian MPs and ministers prioritize immigration policies, and seeing these caucuses as they happen, how much immigration issues are discussed and paid attention to is really insightful and encouraging. So this is my work currently. Again, also happy to answer any questions. And I want to flag to you that currently we're discussing with the UCC and SUSC that I will be doing some 1 day of parliamentary intern on the Hill. So stay tuned, follow the social media, UCC social media and SUSC social media to see how my days are going.
Okay, great. We look forward to that. So Diakono, Elizabeth, and Daria, again, we're very pleased to see that you've been doing great work and that it's interesting and engaging to you. We do have a couple of questions. So we're now going to go to the Q&A kind of session. So I see 4 questions in here, but maybe I'll just review kind of the basics from our website before we get to the questions, because that might answer some questions for you. So let me share. This is our website. So number 1, applications are due May 15th, 2023 by midnight, let's say. And I have done this for 7 years, and I know that we tend to get applications at 11:55 p.m. We will see who comes in the next morning. The application is an online application this year. We used to have a Word document, but now it's, as you can see, you can fill it in online. And there's a series of pages that you can save and get back to. The application is not meant to be incredibly difficult. It's meant to just give us the basic information about who you are and what you do. And as I was saying to, I think, Dadi a couple of days ago when we were talking, we really are looking for a fulsome application to, give us the best information you can about yourself. We have had the unfortunate opportunity where people send in applications where lots of pieces are blank because I assume they don't have any volunteer experience, they don't have any work experience, they don't have any kind of school interests. So those are not strong applications. A strong application would have a lot of information about the things that you do, the things you are involved in, and the life you live, whether it's kind of on a recreational engagement level or professional or academics, et cetera. So we really want to learn about you as an applicant. So please be generous in your information that you give us. And so, yeah, that's also all I'll say with the application. So basically, yes, 11:59, Monday, May 15th, 2023. You can read on our website about, there's a report from Daria, there's a report from Elizabeth. Here's our lovely alumni. You can click on any of their faces and you can read about the reports that they've done over the years. And they, have also been helping us to recruit and talk to people who are interested in the program. So I'll leave it at that for sort of general information. And then let's go to the questions and answers. And Elizabeth and Daria, feel free to check out the questions that we have as well. And we can answer them together. So The first question I see is, do we have questions for current students, i.e. students who are in the midst of their degree? So Maria asked that question. So I can answer that and say, unfortunately, we don't. There are some universities or some organizations that have different kinds of internships that might be a semester or might be, you might get credit for coming in. And there are certainly lots of different ways to work on Parliament Hill. And so if you're currently a student in Canada, you can explore perhaps with your Department of Political Studies or with other, other offices in the university. There might be other options for you if you're interested in doing something during your time as a student. Dottie or Elizabeth, anything to add to that one? Okay. So, and there are in high school, if you know anybody who's a high school student, there are lots of great programs. I did one a long time ago called Forum for Young Canadians, which is a student program for students in grade 9, 10, 11, where you come to Ottawa for a week and you learn and, do all sorts of things, but at a high school level. So again, there are lots of different kinds of ways to come and learn about Canada's democracy. The next question from an anonymous question is it only one vacancy or can there be more than one intern? So I would say the answer is right now we are ideally looking for one strong intern applicant. We have in the past had two at the same time. It really depends on who applies and what we feel their strengths are in the application process. We do have it is a community funded budget through the UCC Charitable Educational Trust. So we don't have an unlimited budget, but we do look for strong candidates and try to give people opportunities where it's possible. So it may be more than one, but at least one, we hope. So that's the answer to that. And I think that was the second question there from Pandamitro as well. Can I tell you more about the application process? I mean, basically, we get the form from you, and again, many people have already sent in forms, which is great. We have a committee which will include Elizabeth this year as they are alumni, and so the committee reviews all the applications. We rank the applications in order of strength based on what you tell us about yourself. And then we shortlist the strongest. We have a meeting to decide who are the strongest candidates and applicants, and we try to meet anywhere from 5 to 7 of them for a Zoom interview, and then get to know them and make some decisions based on that. So that's how our process works. We are hoping to wrap that all up by the end of June because we know people need to make decisions in their lives about the fall. So we're trying to, get applications in for May, review, interview, early to mid-June, and then have some decisions for that time frame. So that's been done before, and we hope we can do that again. Dadia, why don't you take that next question from Olana?
Sure, yeah. So Olena's asking, I graduated as an international information analyst, newcomer from Ukraine. Could I apply for this internship? So Olena, you can. So this is for recent graduates, and recent is, I believe it's 3-4 years maximum of being out of school. And if you graduated from a Ukrainian university, that's great. If you're here and you have a work permit, that's great. You will have to provide transcripts, and I believe translated transcripts, right, Ihor?
No, we can read them in Ukrainska, unless they're in some language other than Ukrainian or English.
Great. Then, yeah, if it's a Ukrainian university, you're all set.
Okay, dobre. Elizabeth, do you want to take the next question from Anastasia? Le prochain.
Yes. Is French proficiency required to participate in the program? I would say it's not required, but it's definitely something that is an asset. If you are fluent in French. Depending on the member of parliament that you're working for example, if you would like to work for a Quebec member of parliament, then it would absolutely be a requirement for you to be able to speak French to interact and engage with constituents. excellence. But otherwise, it is definitely an asset and looked favorably upon. I would say that's
Yeah, and I would say that many of our interns who don't necessarily feel strong enough to speak French have taken lessons, have taken the opportunity to be in Ottawa and done things like me to take, Alliance Française or other workplace lessons to get stronger in that as well. So great. Okay. Olha had a very specific question about transcripts. So there are a wide variety of ways to get us transcripts. Some people mail them physically, and I get beautiful, exciting envelopes from all over the world with interesting stamps. Some people, you can absolutely email us or link your transcripts, whatever the term is. I get a code usually from university that allows me to open it and save it, etc. So whatever process your university offers, we are open to it. So we do not require paper, but we will take the paper if that's the only way that your university operates. We do not have a fax machine, so don't fax it to us. Anastasia asks, who would you prefer to see among references? So, I mean, I quickly just to say there's different sections in the application form that ask about your academic achievements, your community involvement, any kind of professional involvement. So there's no wrong answer. Every applicant is different. Every applicant has a different rich background and different interests. So we are wide open to whoever knows you best. We do check references. We do call people just to tell us so they can tell us about you and why they think you would be a good applicant for this program. So ideally somebody who knows you well enough to answer that question would be good. Elizabeth or Dottie, anything to add there? Okay. Will the UCC support the intern financially and with housing? So yes, this is a paid internship opportunity. So some internships are not paid, so that is a good question. But in this case, we do offer we are paying the intern to do the work, so it's not a volunteer. And we do help people make their transition to Ottawa as if they need it. It's a city with lots of students and lots of options to find housing. So we have always been able to help the person, whoever the intern is, to figure out how to get here and how to find a place to live for the short term. So, okay, I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth for the next question from Anastasia again.
So Anastasia asks, what are you looking for in a candidate? Who is a strong candidate for you? Well, I would say off the bat, we're looking for this is the internship is for those who are looking to develop a career on Parliament Hill in government or public service. So we're looking for recent graduates or those who are about to graduate, people that are serious about getting involved in the public policy process. Ideally candidates have a strong academic background. They have strong references within the Ukrainian community or within Canadian political public sphere more broadly. I would say that those make up some of the key components, and I would definitely say if you come from a background that maybe isn't so political, but is an entirely different field of study to still apply. The UCC is looking for applicants with a wide range of experiences, and to really hone in to kind of use every tool in your toolbox, and highlight that in your application as well. So if you have strong language skills, for example, that would be another thing that is looked favorably upon.
Yeah, and we've had, well said, Elizabeth, we've had applicants who have backgrounds in engineering. We have had Alex was a PhD in astrophysics. That was an unusual one. We've had biology, and I think Anna Bodnar was a biologist. So you don't have to, you don't have to know everything about politics. It is an internship, so we are here you're here to learn. So the terminology and the processes, it's very much a learning experience. In interest, having an interest is definitely required, but doesn't have to mean that you know everything about everything or that you are an expert in any way on sort of these processes. Definitely we're always learning as we go on all of these things. So Dadia, anything to add there about a good applicant?
Yeah, like show your interest, be generous with how you present yourself in the resume, and really like whatever awards, whatever experience you have, references, present it all.
Okay, great. There's one more question here that I think touches it, so I'll just quickly answer it because we've answered it already, but we are looking for at least one intern, potentially more than one. French language is not required, but it always is an asset, as is any other language skills you have. And our internship is a paid internship. So that's just to answer that multi-part question. Two more questions left. So this one is a more technical one, so I'll take that one. Do you have to be residing in Canada and have a work permit at the time of application? Could that be arranged following the selection? So the answer that we have is you must have a work permit to apply to be working in the program. We don't arrange visas, we don't arrange work permits. So it's up to you to tell us, if you have if you're a citizen, a permanent resident, a temporary displaced person, et cetera. There's different kinds of status in Canada that allow you to work in different ways. So it's up to you to tell us that you have the rights to work. There are other international programs that come to Canada. The Canada-Ukraine Parliamentary program is one CUP, which has been going on for 32 years, I think now, 31 years, which is very renowned and well-known and respected. So for people in Ukraine, that might be a great option. They were actually just here last year. There were 40 CUP students that were here. So that might be a better option if you're in Ukraine and you're not in the situation where you have a work permit. On the other hand, again, if you have a work permit, but you're somewhere else, we've had applicants, with all sorts of geographies and all sorts of experiences and education. So we're always open to meeting you and learning about it, about what your interest is. So that's kind of my answer on that kind of technical piece. But again, we don't arrange anything. We ask you as part of the application process to confirm with us that you are eligible to work in Canada. Last question that I see here is, what do we prefer to see in a personal statement, biography, future plans, etc.? So I'll answer briefly, and then I'll ask Dadia and Elizabeth if they have anything that they would like to add to that. So, I think a personal statement is a way to tell us about yourself and your interests and really how you see this program connecting to what you might be interested in doing in the future. So I have to say that I have read a lot of personal statements over the years, and the ones that are not the strongest are the ones that don't in any way kind of refer to anybody's interest in learning about, public service, Ottawa, government, et cetera, that, sort of tell me about their interest in the theater or interest in science, but have no apparent connection. I read the personal statement and I can't understand why this person is interested in this program. So I would say, make a connection between what you've done, or about, even if it's just your personal interest and what you enjoy reading or what you enjoy following. Tell us about yourself and why you think this would be a good connection or good next step for you in terms of what you're hoping to do. Yeah, Dadia or Elizabeth, anything to add to that personal statement message? No.
I don't think so. I would simply highlight what your background and why you think you would benefit from the parliamentary internship program in particular, to really emphasize that point.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, one final question. We have Anastasia is asking us good questions today. Should we put in the 3 most relevant experiences or 3 most recent experiences? I will not be prescriptive. I will say you tell us what you think you need to know. You can also include a CV. Again, we don't need to know every single job you've ever had, but it would be good to know, particularly like if you've worked somewhere that is relevant to the internship. That's probably something that is worth emphasizing versus something that is not related to the internship. Yeah, I mean, you tell us sort of what you want about yourself to give us a picture of your interests, of your experiences, and definitely that's it. Okay, so we went through how many questions? 15 questions. Wow, that's very good. Thank you, everybody, for that. Thank you for everybody who's stuck around with us. So again, the key information for people is the May 15th deadline. We have a website with an email. I'll just pop that up here one more time. If I can find it, one sec, because I have too many things open on my computer. And so we do ask for people to fill out the application in full. And then if you do have questions, we're just an email away. Let me pop that up. So internship@ucc.ca is the email that gets to our program folks. And we are happy to answer specific questions. Again, if it's about very specific things in your application, use your best judgment. I know we do understand that official transcripts may be timed differently. So you could get, in terms of the process with university, sometimes it takes a couple of weeks or a couple of months, depending where your university is at and how their systems work. That's fine. Just let us know that it's expected, it's coming, it's in process, etc. We will, before somebody is hired, we do check references and check the transcript as well. And again, thank you to all our donors. We haven't mentioned it yet, but I think, as you know, this program is funded by the community, and so by the UCC Trust. And so we have a list of all of our donors on the website. So if you would like to be a donor eventually or in the future, you can also do that. And we're very lucky to have this kind of an experience supported by people in our community who value the experience that it does give. So I think with that, we're going to wrap it up tonight. If you have any other specific questions, again, internship@ucc.ca, we'll get to our management committee. And we wish you well in your application. And we will look forward to reading many, many great applications. So na dobranic, thank you, Elizabeth and Dottie. It's great to see you. And we'll talk soon as we review all of our applications. Dobranic. Bye-bye.